Welcome to All for One, your go-to series for all things vacation rentals. I'm Katie Bien.
And I'm Christy Conway, and together we have a combined 25 years of experience in the vacation rental industry. Join us weekly for short episodes packed with tips on growing your company and keeping up with today's trends.
Thanks for tuning in to All for One, because when it comes to success in this industry, we're all in it to win it together.
Thank you for joining us today for another episode of All for One. We have the amazing Tristan Webb with us today, a trailblazer in the property management and mastermind development world. Tristan's experience ranges from growing his own luxury ski home business to crafting legislation and consulting for industry giants like Vacasa. Drawing on his diverse experiences and a board member, sales leader, TV producer, and strategic advisor, he has developed a groundbreaking mastermind program. Tristan currently leads over 10 groups, guiding more than 100 business owners through monthly mastermind meetings. That is a lot, Tristan. And I also want to point out, Katie and I had the pleasure of being on Tristan's mastermind, and that's actually how Katie and I met. So thanks for being here today, Tristan.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on All for One, Katie and Christy.
Absolutely.
Christy's right. I really so enjoyed your mastermind groups. I remember Christy was like a guest speaker in one of them. And it was just great for me. I was fresh into this new role with my company, and it was just a great way to meet with other Ventori users because I was new to the platform, new to the systems. And so I really got so much out of that experience with the mastermind group. And we hear that from people all the time too. It's just it's just invaluable. So that really brings us to our first question is what made you want to start these masterminds? Tristan, how did you get into this?
Great question. My snowboarding buddy, Brooke, when he started Ventori, he wanted to bring the benefits of YPO and EO mastermind groups that he'd experienced for 18 years to Ventori clients. And so he just started doing it. And when I joined, I really felt at home facilitating these masterminding groups. And so for the last 3 years, it's been a blast. And I've just tried to build on the platform that Napoleon Hill established in his book, Think and Grow Rich. And it's just been a really amazing experience to see the growth within the group members and the industry as a whole.
That's awesome, Tristan. So one of the burning questions is, right, once you join a mastermind, what is it when you get in there? What are some of these problems that you guys are solving as a group? And, what are some of the major problems that you guys are facing right now?
Well, that's kind of the whole point, right? There's massive change in our industry. The growth arc of our industry, even though it's one of the oldest, the last 10 years, it's really exploded. And so really competent, accomplished people, when they have big problems to tackle, they get together with trusted advisors. And large companies always entice a board of directors. They pay them money, stock options, equity to get them in the room so that their CEO can benefit from that exchange. But most small business people don't have their own board of directors. Hence, this mastermind group really fills that void and gives a small business owner the opportunity to interact with and over time develop real trust with similar people in similar situations that have a very deep depth of knowledge in their industry. So when these things happen, they have someone to turn to. So a few examples are, we had one group member go through a reservations drought. They had a big event and nothing was happening. And they came to the group kind of in a crisis. The group dropped everything, turned to their attention to helping this member, really gave them actionable items to implement in the next day and week. And they saw the reservations fill up.
Wow.
Other things, like regulations are constantly shifting from one city to the next. And so those who have been through it can help those who are just surprised by their city council meeting that's happening tomorrow. And so those things are kind of spur of the moment. Other things like, am I going to change my software? Those are kind of long-term decisions that you weigh out. And then on the positive end of the spectrum, you have people who really want to make an acquisition or even sell their company, but they're not sure. They either have some fear or they have some misconceptions about what they should do. And they turn to their mastermind group, and it gives them not only the information, but also the confidence to go ahead and jump on that opportunity. And so I've seen acquisitions happen that otherwise wouldn't have, and seen the growth of those companies. So it's really amazing. That's the best part of these masterminds for sure.
That's great. And, we talk to people every day, Christy and I do, and we get that question so often of like, who can I talk to about how they
Mhm.
handled this challenge? Because we are in such a remote world these days, right? And the only time you really get that is when you go to a conference. So it's a great place that you're offering the space for people to have this network that they constantly can tap into when they have these questions.
It really speaks to me. I love conferences. And for a long time, I went to a lot of conferences. There's great value there. But to spend 5 days and $5,000 to get a couple of good conversations, it's not the only option. And so if you can have a regularly scheduled, every month planned out, amazing conversation that you don't have to leave your office for,
Yeah.
so much the better.
Absolutely. And really, like, a lot of times those things that come up, you need to quickly be able to solve, like that case you had with the reservation drought, right? You can't wait till the next conference comes around to solve those. So that's awesome. And along that line, like, things are changing quickly in the industry. And we all, I mean, there's of course the regulations that's constantly changing, but there's so much around technology and the way the market is shifting. So how do you make sure that your group's advice is staying useful and up to date, and that and just staying up with the market changes? What are the tricks and tools you use there?
Well, great question. I remember when there was nowhere to turn, when there was very little information. You had to kind of steal ideas from the hotel industry or other places. And you guys and others have made so much more of information available that now there's almost too much information. And so you're wondering, what do I do? What should I really act on? And the great thing here is that no one has to depend on my knowledge or any other individual guru. When you have 10 trusted advisors, they've already looked through and sifted through a lot of the information. And when they come together, they bring those things that are current, actionable. And not only do you have the opportunity to discover and decide and act and respond to the market, but these groups are really the ones making the changes in the marketplace.
And the other thing, it's funny, Tristan, because my next question is, name a big success, but we're only 5 minutes into this, and I've already heard like 10 good successes. So the one thing I just wanted to mention too is when you're bringing all this up is sometimes when you're running the company, you can't talk to the reservationists, you can't ask them about some of these big decisions. So it's great to have these people, these leaders that are in there. So do you have a mastermind for, under leadership? Is it just for people that are running the companies?
Yeah, that's actually, this whole thing has really emerged out of the demand that exists in the marketplace. When we first started, we were just working with business owners, but we found so many business development representatives wanted to also have a place to share. So we created a business development mastermind group. Next, we had interest from marketers. When I started STR Directors, out of the blue, I had interest from supplier vendors who want to know how they can service this industry better. So it really is a needs-based development. And yes, when there's a need, we try to help with it.
That's awesome.
That's great. And so tell us about, if a property manager, co-host, anybody's thinking about joining your group, what's the structure of that? How can they sign up? Tell us more about that.
Awesome. Well, first of all, they can go to strdirectors.com. There's a lot of information there. You can sign up or book a meeting with me to learn about it. But I'm not reinventing the wheel here. Napoleon Hill, EO, YP, Vistage, they've all been doing this for years and years. What I bring to the table is those groups were limited by geographic area. So you had good minds within a 20-minute drive, right? but you couldn't have competitors in the same group. So you had a dry cleaner, a banker, a deli shop, and a vacation rental manager meeting together. And there's value to that crossover. But again, the option of meeting with the top minds in your industry that have a very deep knowledge without competitors. You have the top guys in Destin, Myrtle Beach, Outer Banks, LA, San Diego. They're able to share their books, and they're able to do so in this format, which was long established. So for the silver groups, which is kind of the light version that Vintori offers its clients, sponsored by Brooke and his goodwill, that is a 90-minute meeting where you meet with the same 8 to 10 people every month on the same day, same time. And everyone has a chance to share the wins they've had the last 30 days, the challenges, the opportunities they're looking forward to tackling in the next 30 days, and any questions that are really present for the group. Everyone does that. Then we answer those questions that are top of mind. And usually there's been a topic that we answered last month or the month before that we really want a deeper dive into. So the second half of that 90 minutes is really taking that apart and really having everyone can come to the table, open their books, open their minds for that topic. Now, the gold level is that deeper experience, more similar to EO, where the first 90 minutes is similar to the silver plan, but the second 90 minutes is where one member of the group has a life-altering decision to make. And so they bring, a 15 or 20-minute presentation detailing all of the factors that they've already considered. And they bring their top 3, like, I think I'm going to do this, but maybe I'll do that. And they present that to the group. The group then asks qualifying questions to kind of shoot holes through their ideas. And after those questions have been asked, each member of the group sits back and says, well, if I was in your shoes, what worked for me would be to do this, and this is why. And after you've had 9 of your trusted advisors go through that, you can feel what rings true for you. And so you have that confidence of having really pursued this, really gotten the feedback from people that you trust. So that's the format for the meetings. Every month, same people, same day.
Everyone has at least one issue. They should be joining a mastermind. If you don't have any issues, then maybe a mastermind's not for you. But if you have at least one issue, it's good to get somebody's feedback other than, the person that sits next to you. So
Tell us, is there any example where there was a big aha moment for somebody that had something that maybe they needed to change or they didn't know about? Did anything come to mind there?
Absolutely. Yeah. We had one group where a member came when COVID was at its worst, and he was really going to close shop. He just didn't see a future. And the other people in the group were, instead of saying, what's wrong with you? There's free money. The government's giving it out. They said, what's working for me is I've applied for this business loan that COVID has established. And he was like, what? Free money? So he actually applied for it, and it saved his business. So those are those things when you're in the trenches, you just can't see sometimes, and having someone kind of wake you up to it it's a great thing.
All right. So tell us, what are some action items that someone can implement starting today in their business that is really going to move the needle forward? My guess is they need to sign up with STR.
Well, I'm not saying it, but of course I'm saying that. I've just seen the value of it. And, Brooke did it for a reason. Those groups exist for a reason. Boards of directors exist for a reason. So I'm not creating anything new. I'm just customizing for our industry. But other than joining my groups, the topics that I share are within the group, they're confidential. So I can't share anything which has been shared in the group other than something that's also been shared publicly. So I'm happy to share stuff that's been shared publicly. One great example is one of our members shared in a couple weeks ago, the Vintori panel, their success with using bios videoed by professional staff of their team members, that the lead generation of those visiting and watching their team members explain their roles, that's a huge takeaway. Another video use, I love Tom Goodwin with Mountain Laurel Chalets. He has a page with about 10 videos that say, why trust us? And so it's this personal exchange. Instead of just seeing words on the page, you're seeing his eyes, you're seeing the care that's coming through the video. And another great example is companies who, it's great to have everything in text form. It makes it searchable, but being able to just whip out your phone and make a Loom video showing a hot water heater or showing a standard operating procedure, describing it in your own words without having to go and type it out, and then putting that in a database, not only for your team members, but also for guests. That really is a game changer in making things quicker and more vibrant and actionable. So a lot of these things that I'm seeing are really that personal interchange, that personal face-to-face discussion and communication with others, taking advantage of online opportunities such as this and really automating them and categorizing them for everyone's benefit. The great thing is there's so many options. Different people learn in different ways in different situations. Sometimes it's one-on-one, sometimes it's in a conference, but history has really shown that when you have, as Jeff Bezos says, 2 pizzas and enough people to eat them in the room, that's really where decisions are made best. And so I would invite you to give it a try. If you don't have 10 people that you can meet with every month on a regular basis, give it a try and see how it takes your business beyond your own vision.
I don't know, Tristan. I think I could eat 2 pizzas by myself. Depends what kind it is.
Challenge accepted.
And Tristan, the hardest question of all, right? Who is your favorite mastermind group? Is it the one that Katie and I were in? Is that your favorite one?
Mastermind groups are confidential. I couldn't say.
You can say it. You can say it here.
Well, I think that's all we have time for today on that note. Well, Christy and I are going to go get some pizza. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Definitely don't walk, run to strdirectors.com. And if you're already a Ventori partner, you do get a sponsorship level. Tell us about that, Tristan. You get the silver sponsorship, right?
Absolutely. As I mentioned at the start, Brooks feels so passionate about this that he has sponsored existing Ventori clients to participate in the Mastermind Silver at no additional charge. And for anyone interested, definitely ask Katie or Christy or someone else about how you can become a Ventori partner to access this special sponsorship.
Thank you again, Tristan, for your time today.
Katie and Christy, you're the best. Thank you for letting me be here. It's been a blast.
Check back in with us next week. We're going to release another episode on Friday. Until then, keep growing, keep succeeding. And until next week, all for one. We'll see you later.